My name is Nuerki AB and I work in telecoms. I have 2 children, a girl 10 years old and a boy who is 5. For my daughter, I was just feeling, well, it just popped into my head that I could be pregnant. Don't ask me how. But so I went to a clinic next to my house and did the test, and they said yes, you are, and that was it. For my son, I thought I had malaria, so I'd been self-medicating, something I shouldn't do, and it wasn't getting better. So I went to the hospital, and they decided to do a scan and realized that I was about 2 months or almost 3 months pregnant, I can't recall. And because I'd been self-medicating, the baby had started to self-abort. So I was in a really dangerous place, but I felt fine apart from the uneasy feeling. So that was how I found out about the second one. The entire pregnancy was enjoyable because there was no stress, there was no drama, there was nothing. It was life as usual for me. I could do everything I needed to do. I didn't have the back pain, I didn't get the belly, I didn't get the swollen feet, I didn't have morning sickness, there were no cravings even. So it was just life as usual. The most disappointing thing for me was that I couldn't do the pregnancy shoot where you have everybody in the pose and they have their belly. And I don't have any of those. I remember for my daughter, I was sharing a room with 2 other ladies and they thought I was there, normal admission. But they were pregnant and we had all been chatting and I hadn't said anything to them. So we're there and I was wheeled out and came back about an hour later with a baby. Wait, you were pregnant all this time? And somebody said, look, I'm not even due. I'm like 5 months and look at me already. Why can't my own? It was really interesting. So I had a cesarean. It was a scheduled cesarean, for both children. And each time when the baby was coming, the only thing I felt was when I didn't feel the cut per se, but there's this sensation of something being opened. When you're wearing a dress that you struggle, or maybe a pair of jeans that you struggle to get into, and then you get home and then you unzip it and you're like it was that kind of feeling. You feel like something opened and then you feel this sensation of them pulling something out of you. That was for my daughter. For my son, it was a bit more interesting because apparently, so there's a screen up, so you don't see what is happening, you just have to imagine it. And then if you have somebody next to you, they'll be telling you, okay, this is what's going on, this is what they're doing. So for my son, the doctor called for backup. I was wondering what was going on. So you had 2 doctors on either side, and one was trying to pull the baby out, and another was pushing my belly from the side because it's like he wasn't ready to come out. So one is pulling, another is pushing him out, and then eventually he came out and he was like clean. There wasn't a drop of blood on him. He wasn't wrinkled. He was just clean and very, very white, like really, really white with, unfortunately, he had the umbilical cord around his neck with 2 knots in it. So then it became a teaching moment for the doctor. So quickly they called the other staff in the hospital. Oh, this is what you've been learning about in medical school. Apparently it's something rare. 1 knot is, but 2? So there was that, but he was fine. Well, the first one, I was indifferent. yes, I was relieved that she was healthy and she had arrived finally. But I wasn't all, ooh, look at my baby, you know. And it struck me, it was actually a bit worrying for me, because when I was little, there was this advert that used to run. They said it would be wonderful, but I don't know what to feel. I want to be a mother, but oh, seems so da. Then I touch you. So I always had this idea in my mind of this, like butterflies and soft lights and flowers when a baby arrives. It's like you're floating or dancing on air kind of experience. So this is a song I sing to myself. I'd been singing to myself even during the pregnancy, thinking, oh, this is how it's going to be like. And the baby comes and I'm like, okay, is that all? You know, like, where's the drum roll? Where's the music? I mean, I was just, okay, she's here, she's safe, fine. It was probably maybe the next day that I started warming up towards it, like, oh, like, look at me, my baby is here. Then I started feeling that bond. For my son, I was upset because I was hungry. I hadn't had any food since the previous night, and then the nurses, because they were having a hard time dealing with the fact that this was a different kind of pregnant woman. I think they themselves were having a hard time, like, how are you not feeling any pain? How are you not? And you know, when you have a cesarean, they say to you that when you come from recovery, they wait for you to fart before they give you anything to eat. And it wasn't happening. And I was getting agitated. I was saying to the nurse, look, I just need to eat. She said, no, this has to happen. So it was really not. And I remember I had seen the baby briefly, but I hadn't paid too much attention to him. So eventually I got to my room and they brought the baby. And every time I turn, like, he's there, he was not tiny, but his eyes were like really black. You couldn't see the white, and anytime you turn, his eyes are open and he's looking at you like, so I just looked back at him. And then I turned the other way because I'm just waiting, where's the food? Then he turned and the baby is still, he's not crying, he's just quiet and he's just staring at you. Then we kind of fell into it and everything was as I had imagined it should be. So I didn't have the initial, I even thought there was something wrong with me. Because babies change your life. It's just, I mean, your life can't be the same anymore. You have to make a lot of adjustments. Everything you're doing, you have to consider them. Okay, so if I was going to go here, how does that affect the baby? Do I take them along? Can I take them along? Should I leave them at home? Can I find somebody to help me? There are all these concerns, and here they are always at the back of your mind. When I had a newborn, I think I went for an event. Somebody said, what are you doing here? And you had this feeling of, they were judging you, like, you just had a baby, why are you out? You know, that kind of thing. But so it's always about trying to find the right balance. It's hard, yeah. No. No, I was just winging it mostly. You know, like how you apply your eyeliner and then you just, you know, it was the same. That's just what I was doing. I was just winging it because there are rules, or there's all this advice. Even some of the advice contradict each other. I mean, somebody is telling you this, another person is, because they are giving you advice based on their own experience. One advice I took, even though I said everybody gives multiple advice, one advice I really took was sleep when the baby sleeps, and that worked for me. So once the baby sleeps, no matter the time of day, as soon as the baby sleeps, I sleep. My dad suggested having the baby's food ready. So I know the baby will wake up at 10 p.m., for example. At 9:40 or 9:45, I have the food near the baby. and then I just put it in the baby's mouth whilst he's still sleeping. He will continue eating without opening his eyes. And then I get another 2 hours of sleep, because that time he would have woken up, cried for food, you feed him, then you are now going to struggle to go back to sleep, or first put him to sleep and then you go to sleep. I didn't have to do that. So breastfeeding surprises, there were many. You watch a movie, a baby arrives, next thing they put the baby at the mother's breast and the baby is enjoying themselves. They are feeding already. So I that's what happened. But no, that was not my reality at all. The milk just doesn't come, or didn't come for me immediately. For my daughter, it started coming after the 4th day, I think. Yeah, 4th day. For my son, it took about 2 days or so. So, but the midwife explained to me that the baby is also now learning how to suck. So that's where the challenge is. None. Seriously, I didn't have to do any because my mother was there to help. So my mother did all the washing. So it's just one item, she wash it. So it doesn't even pile up for you to, one item she wash. So I'm really, really grateful for that. I didn't have to deal with any. And that's how come I could sleep and not stress, because I know the washing has been taken care of and there's food. So I didn't have to do any washing. Should I feel guilty? Yes, I have. Because I used to be a very, should I say, self-centered person. So it's always about me. Now having 2 tiny people who don't have any money but have such huge demands and rely heavily on you has made me shift my focus somewhat. So I have to factor them in. It's not always about me anymore. So that has been the biggest lesson for me. It takes a lot of all my time. So it's really difficult. The only time or the only quality time I get to spend with my kids are the drive to school. So the 1.5 hours or so that it takes us to get to school, that's when we have all our conversations and we catch up. Because when we are going back home, halfway they are asleep or they are too tired to talk. So that's when I actually get to spend time with them. Oh yeah, you're supposed to entertain them all the time. Just this past Saturday, I had to play football. I had to play football with my son. So we're just running around. I kick the ball, he kicks the ball. And I was all dressed up in my heels and everything because I was going out, but he wanted to play. So I had to play football with him. That was fun. Then sometimes they just want to do strange or unusual things. Oh, can you teach us how to bake this? Or we want to climb a tree. So how do you climb it? Then my kids surprise me all the time with the things they say. My son especially. He had my phone, he was playing with it and a call came through. And he cut the call because what he was doing on the phone was not done. And my daughter said, why did you cut the call? Mommy never gives us her phone. So this time that she's giving us her phone, you want to make her regret it and take the phone from her. I said, but I hadn't finished watching what I was watching. I said, okay, never mind. I'll call the person back. Who was calling? He said, the person works in a bakery. But I don't have any number saved as somebody working in a bakery. I said, why do you say the person works in a bakery? Oh, his name is Abeku. Baking. He works in it. I had such a good laugh. I was calling the person, but the person was not answering. He said, Mommy, he's not picking. I said, no. He said, because grown-ups, you put your phone down and you go and walk somewhere. There was time he said I should teach them to bake. And I said, all right, I'll teach you to bake. So are you going to send us a memo? And that time he was about 4 years old. I said, memo? He said, yes, memo. Something you use to tell people things they have to do. I heard it from Boss Baby. And I hadn't even watched Boss Baby. So I had to go and watch Boss Baby to see all the things they were learning. They never grow up. They are still children in a sense. Even though they may do things that look very mature, they are still children. So you have to have that in mind. They will still cry. They will still throw tantrums. The most rewarding thing for me about motherhood is the learning experience. That it's a daily thing, and it helps me to improve myself. It helps me to improve my interactions with other people. So that's what I appreciate the most about it, apart from the obvious that I have children I can call my own. I am learning so much from them daily, and it's improving me as a person, and it's improving the quality of engagement I have with other people. So that has been the most rewarding part of motherhood for me.